Hello, Kisuki Ukiit. My name is Jordan Stasso, and I'm going to be doing a demonstration today on how to build a fish trap, or as the Kootenai people call, yaka. Y-A-K-A, yaka. But it's going to be a small little fish trap, about this big. And then what we got today is we got some willow branches, and that's what was traditionally used for a willow fish trap. And how this works is, you can see it's a cone shape. It goes like this. And they'll take it and they'll put it in the creek or a river, wherever. Then the fish will come this way and they'll swim through the trap. And what makes these really awesome tools is that they're natural conservation tools. You can take one of these and put them in a river or a creek. Well, probably a creek more than a river, because a river might wash it away, but a creek really. But the fish swim in this way, and if the fish is too small to get stuck inside here, if it can come out right here or squeeze out of the top or the bottom, or if it can get through the trap, then it's too small for us to eat. So those fish become later fish that grow up and become fish that we could eat at a later time. But the fish that come in this way, they come in here and they get stuck in there. Well, fish don't swim backwards, so they're just stuck in there. So then whenever a couple days pass, then whoever set the trap will go pick it up out of the water this way and then untie the back right here and dump all the fish out, and then tie it back up, put it back in, and do it again, or take it and move to another portion of the creek. But that's just a little bit of brief history and stuff that I know about fish traps. But this one right here I made, nobody showed me how to make these. I just actually seen them before in old pictures and stuff like that, and I spent some time looking at them and studying them, so I decided to try it out, and this is my end product. So that's what I'm going to be showing people how to do today. So these are going to be some of the tools that we're going to need. Right here we have some sinew. This is just imitation sinew that you can get from anywhere. You can order it from online, or go to the Powder Horn or Four Winds or Nine Pipes or all that kind of stuff, any place. Just a regular old lighter, scissors, and a pocket knife. So from there, we have our model here. And then I'm going to set this away and set this to the side for now. But we'll come back to this later and we'll compare it up. Alright, so we got the fish trap put away. So what I got right here is a big stack of red willow branches. And then I'll show you the procedure from here. But we can set the lighter and the scissors and the sinew to the side for right now. But we have all our branches right here. So first thing that we have to do is you get a branch like this, and you see it's got some little forks and stuff on there. But what we're going to do is take our knife and we're just going to go just like that and snip right through there. Then we can take these and set them up here and see if we can use them for any of our ribs for our trap. And you don't have to use a knife if you don't want to. I'm sure some of these we could just as easily just pulled off, but just trying to be cool, I guess. But the ones I guess I can pull off, I will. And then we're going to do this on all of them. And then usually for a small one like that, you want to grab probably at least a good 9 or 10 branches, long branches, so that you can trim them and use the best parts of the branches and stuff, so it'll make your trap nice and strong. This little spider, I'll brush him to the side there. Then they'll get to a point where they're too thin to use, so right here, so we'll just go ahead and just break it off right there. And grab our knife right here. So here's one of them, and then we'll continue to do this for all of them. So get all those off there. And you want to get it to where you can see, like right here, where it's kind of getting thinner, but we'll probably end up clipping it about right here, so it'll be nice and kind of sturdy all the way through. It won't be too flimsy. So keep peeling up our branches here. We'll peel them up and then we'll probably skip a couple and pause it and then pick back up after I get them all peeled. So sometimes you'll run into some ones too that are bent, and then what we want to do is that we need them all straight so we can go ahead and just break it off right there. So here's another straight piece. And then this, I think these pieces might all be too skinny to use, too thin. This piece could have been used, but it's too short. Actually, I take that back. We can use these little small pieces for the opening for the trap. Sometimes just got to remember all the steps that go with it, because there's kind of a lot, but once you get going on everything, it's kind of fills in itself and you'll really see it start to fill out as we start going. So we'll break that off there, break that off here, get all this. And I cut these willows today so that they're nice and pliable and bendable and stuff, so it'll be good. See, I can bend that into a ring right there and it's not gonna break. Can grab it and pull it around and it's not too bad. So normally what you would do is you would go ahead of time and you would make your rings. You would peel all your sticks and then you'd take one like this and bend it into your ring, and that would be whichever part of the trap from here. This would either go on the inside, or if you're using these smaller pieces or anything like that, or these smaller branches, you can make it a smaller ring. But we'll need 4 rings total. After we get going on everything, we'll tie up our rings after we get all our materials and stuff all cut up. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it right now and skip ahead until they're all peeled up. Alright, we got all our willow branches peeled up here. We got quite a few of them. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 of them. So this one right here is one that I decided is going to be the length of the fish trap that we're going to make. It's about 13 inches-ish, maybe 14. But the next thing to do from here is the biggest end to the skinniest end. We're going to take this and we're going to measure it. And go so far, break it. If you have loppers or anything else like that, lawn clippers, rose clippers, that kind of stuff, that works great. So then you take it and still measure them up. We want them all to be pretty close to the same length. We can set these over here with our shorter ones. So we've got 3 of them. And then make sure you keep track of your original piece, because this is going to be your main measuring one for all of them. This is going to be your size reference for all of them. And you can straighten these out because they're still fresh, they're still green branches. You can take them, they'll crunch a little bit, but they'll dry again. And 2, that these traps are really not going to be too functional because obviously they're going to be small, but these are kind of more for wall hangers, wall decoration, stuff like that. But I'll go ahead and pause it. So I do need to remind everybody that we're going to set aside a couple of these other branches and we're going to make our ring. So I'll pause it and cut all of our pieces to length, and then from there we'll make our rings and we'll take off from there. Alright, sorry about that. Had an update alert that I was trying to get out of the way there. But so we have all our pieces here that we have, all our little column ribs right here, and these are going to be the pieces that are going to fill in the spaces on the fish trap. So we can set these kind of, I guess, right here for now, keep them here. But so what we're going to do with our rings is we're going to take these shorter branches and we're going to take them like this, and you just twist them. And you make like a regular ring you would. You can use the natural bend of the wood and stuff. And again, it'll crunch around, but that's alright. But twist it around, get it the best you can. You can get it all the way around, that's good. So then see, we just have this little end piece here, this little end piece here, and then after that we can take it and round it out a little bit more so it's like that. So then next we'll take our sinew, take kind of a long piece. We're going to be pretty generous with our sinew throughout this, so just, you know, bear in mind that we're going to be using a lot of sinew. So you'll take it so the ring's sitting on there like that. Then you find our two end pieces. There's one, there's the other. Then you take your string and do like you tie your shoe. Just do one of those on there. And then you can go ahead, throw two of them in there so it stays in there pretty sturdy. So you make sure you got one and two in there. So then you can take these other ends of your strings here, you take them and you wrap them around and wrap them around those parts there. That'll just kind of help keep it flush. So then you take this excess string right here, take it and wrap it around, and you make a loop, a little tiny loop right there. Then the end of your string is going to go through your loop. And the sinew works good too. If you twist the end of it, give it a good twist there. And then it goes through the loop like that and it cinches on there. And we'll do the same with this other side. Just wrap it. Wrap it and do the loop. Oh, we're going to twist here. The loop, through the loop, cinch it. Then you'll have the, your two extra strings right here. So you can take them, just give them a tug, and then you'll want to take them and you'll tie those strings together. Then your knot could end up on the top side, the back side. It doesn't really matter because it's really going to go on the inside of the trap anyway. So just regular knot right there. Take our scissors, and here's where our lighter is going to come into play. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff with the lighter just like this. So you get it short, so you light it and it melts. Be careful, you use the bottom end to just stamp it on there. You light it and burn it down, stamp it on there. See, that's not going nowhere. And then you can take it and bend it around and get more of your round shape to it. So we're going to do that a few more times. And then I have some other extra branches just in case some of our rings, this one you can see right here, it's kind of looking a little rough. So we'll have an extra ring to work with anyway. So again, we'll take it, bend it around. And one thing that we have to keep in mind is the size of our rings that we're making. So they all have to taper down biggest to smallest. So that's one of the important things that we have to keep in mind because it makes a cone shape. So, it's got to taper down at some point. And not all of our branches are going to be able to twist around all of them. This one's getting pretty stiff right here, so we'll just go ahead and break it. Give it a twist or two, grab the knife, and be careful, just a little push on there with the thumb, snip it. There we go. Let's set our knife out of the way. So again, we'll take a good piece of our string here, snip it. So since these two ends aren't touching, what we're going to do is we're going to just take it and we're going to go right here and we're going to tie our knot right there once, twice. We're going to hold it. We're going to keep this piece, this long string right here, we're going to keep that over here. So then we can take our long string and wrap both of them, both of the strings right here like that. And then when we get over here on this side, then the string that we held over here to the side will tie to this string. Kind of a little tricky sometimes. You kind of have to use a little bit of force, and sometimes you might end up using your teeth, but we get creative when we're making stuff. So right there, tie it once, twice. So traditionally, one of the things that was great about fish traps and why it was very important for the people, all native people, is because, fish was there year round. It wasn't seasonal. If there was any time that they went someplace and there was not a whole lot of deer or a whole lot of other animals that they could eat, or not a lot of berries or stuff like that, we could always count on the fish to be there. Even ice fishing, fishing in a creek, fish were a lifesaver. So we always had a lot of respect for our water creatures. So again, right here, underneath it, and make sure to get both of them in there. Twist it, pull it. So there's two. So we take our excess string and hold it to the side. Then our long string we're going to take and wrap and wrap and wrap and wrap and wrap and wrap until we get close to the end of our stick there. So then again, just one knot, two knots. So I use this sinew just because it's out of convenience, to be honest. I like that it's really strong, it's hard to break, and that it melts. The fact that it melts on there is a big win for me because it makes a big kind of an anchor. You can melt it down, blow it out, give it a second, and then you just set the lighter on there and kind of stamp it and see how it makes kind of like a little anchor there. It's not going to really untie or go anywhere. And especially if you do it on both sides, it really keeps your knots in place. Traditionally, the kind of cordage they would have used on this would probably be some sort of dog bane, some kind of twine that they would have made. Probably not natural sinew because it's an animal part, and it would disintegrate, or sometimes it even gets slippery when it gets wet. So I imagine some sort of cordage would have been used. You can use dog bane. Once it's dried, you take it and you squish it like that, and it breaks into pieces, but you take all the bark there and then you rub it together in big, you twist it and rub it and twist it and roll it, and you can make really good string out of those. You take it and you braid the pieces, and eventually you get big pieces, and then you can use those pieces to make cordage and tie stuff up like that. So we'll keep making our other rings here. So make sure that this ring is going to be bigger than this ring, and this is probably going to be the maximum ring right here, the biggest one, because it's going to be our opening. So this will be our opening, our middle ring, and probably our bottom ring if we choose to use it. If not, we're going to use one of these other two pieces right here, but we still need four, so it will go from 1, 2, 3, and then the third one is going to be the small one, the entrance ring that's going to go on the inside of this one as well. So it kind of has to be about the same size as this one too, but probably maybe even a little bit smaller. But we'll see when we get there. So we'll take our piece here, twist it around, and one of the reasons why I like to twist it around like this, because it's adjustable. If we get it and it's too small or too big, we can always pull on it, shorten it up, cinch it up this way, like that, and it makes our rings smaller, makes them tighter. And also, these little grooves and stuff like this make good spots for our ribs and stuff to sit on top of. Almost made it all the way around. I'll just leave it right there, so we'll get our string. Sorry, I had another update. Computer keeps trying to restart on me. But as our rings get bigger, we're going to start needing more string. So this will go through here. And what we'll do here is we'll just do the same thing. We'll tie it once, twice. We'll keep this string out of the way, and then we'll have our long string. Oops. Got to be mindful of our ends of our string and all of that good stuff too, because it can get kind of quick to make a mess. But again, they're just sticks, so we can always pick them up. So we're wrapping, and then here's where it would overlap. So we'll wrap a couple extra times in the same spot to kind of hold it there. And then we'll continue down, wrap. We'll keep wrapping. We'll go down so far just to make sure that it holds there. Then we'll come back. We'll come back. Go over that spot a couple more times. So then we're getting close to the end of our string with our knots again. So we'll bring this one back to it a little bit. It looks like they'll meet up right here. So we'll tie them up once, twice, snip, and burn. Stamp it on there, turn it, and be careful with your fire because you could burn the other sides of these strings and then you have to take the string off and do it all over again, which isn't fun. There we go. You can bend it around a little bit. So 1, 2, 3. So we're getting there. So we'll still make a couple other extras or just in case. So too, with these smaller rings, we can always use the thinner part of up here. They're going to be a little more flexible. It's about that size. So what we can do is we'll go up to this next little knot right here and break it right there. That worked pretty good. This is about the right length that we need. So we'll just keep going with it. We use what we can. We always try to get the most out of everything. So we'll continue. And then see we have a little extra, so what we can do is we can just snip it. If I had some bigger scissors or those other shears, I probably would have used those, but I don't want to dull up my good scissors. I don't know how many adults out there have the good scissors, but no matter what, those are always the best ones for opening popsicles, according to my kids. All that, snip it. Oh, my camera's slipping a little bit. There we go. So we'll move our sinew, our sharp stuff out of the way. So where's our overlap? Right there. So this is nice because it overlaps really good. So we'll make sure to get both ends of our branches in there. Try to get our string pretty close to being even. Oh, missed. So we'll have to make sure we get both of them on there. There we go. So there's 1, 2. And the rings are going to be really the most important part because they're going to really dictate the shape of the trap and how big it is really. So making the rings first or second, I guess, because we cut our pieces, is going to be really implementary in making these little fish traps. Because once we get our rings going, then we can start tying on our ribs, and from there it is going to go smooth sailing. You can pull on it tight. Go ahead and do that same knot twice. The loop, through the loop. Cinch it on there good. Give her a snip. Melt it down. Stamp it. You got a little extra piece right there. Got it. So then this other piece, we'll take it and do the same thing. Wrap it. Give it a twist. Make a loop. Through the loop, pull it tight. Make the loop. Through the loop, cinch it down. So then you can take it and you can pull it and it'll come out on the other side. You can take that part and give it a snip. Melt it down. Stamp the bottom. There we go. So the last one is going to be our smallest ring. This is going to be our entrance ring for the inside of our trap, for the mouth of our trap. Found that little knot right there and snapped it real clean. This looks that one looks like it's a little too brittle, so we can just take this and toss this to the side with our other pieces. So we'll try to keep going around, and it made it all the way around. So again, repeat our step. Pretty good size length of sinew there. Set that out of the way. Set our knife over here too. So we'll go through there. Set it down. 1 knot, and it's not going nowhere. 2 knots. So we'll take our string, wrap it. Get back to the middle, make our loop through the loop, pull it tight, that'll stay there. So other side, wrap it, so far close to the end, and then start going back toward our other string. Got our string, 1 knot, 2 knot. Snip our string, our excess string. Burn them both. Push them together, stamp it down. Alright, so there we have it. I think out of these ones, we'll just go with these 4. These ones look our cleanest. This one is a little brittle still. We'll set that to the side over here. So what we're going to do next is going to get a good chunk of sinew, and we're going to start tying our ribs on. We're going to start with the first 4, and then from there we're going to fill in the rest. So I'll put on the first 4 and demonstrate that, and then fill in a couple more, and then we'll pause it and skip ahead to the next steps because it looks like we're about half hour into it. So what we're going to do is take our sinew. This is how I do it. You make a loop, you cross it over, you go once, through the loop twice, like that. So it kind of goes right there. Then find the fat end of the stick. Out of the skinnier end or the fatter end, you tie it on the fatter end, and you tie it just a little ways down there, maybe 1/4 inch down the stick, so it will be on there like that. See, so then now I have these right here. I take it to the biggest ring, and I'll start tying the sinew on where I started wrapping right here. So this looks like a good spot. I'll kind of mold it around a little bit. So I'll set this on here like that. Here, let me scoot these rings over. We'll stack them up. But you set it on top of it right there, and then you set these right there. It goes through the ring, so you could see both of them are hanging on. The ring's just kind of hanging on there. So you take it and you pull it down to where you started your knot, and then you take these and then it goes on top of the stick. On top of the stick. So we pulled them up right there, crisscrossed it, right there. As you could kind of see what's going on there. So then we'll cinch it down tight right there, and then go back over the ring, and then repeat the process. You know, you can cross the strings if you like on the inside right there, and it'll kind of add to a little bit of stability to it. And then you take it, make sure you're snugging it on there tight, and you do one knot, two knots. That goes on there like that. And then if you have extra string, if it makes you feel better, you can take them, you know, twist them around on the bottom and still keep tying them on until you run out of string, whichever, you know, however you want. You can tie it around, you can tie it on the inside. One knot, two knot, you know, but you could see that's not going anywhere. Oh, dropped it. But we got our excess string, so we'll continue to do our thing. We'll snip the excess string and we'll burn them down. There we go. So we'll do the first one, and then we'll do our middle one, and then our last one. So you see it's starting to kind of take shape. It will taper down toward this way. We might even need to trim this one up and make it a little bit smaller, but we'll see when we get there. So next, we'll get our piece of sinew here, a long one. And what we're going to do here is we're going to tie it to the ring. One knot, two knots. So then we'll take these and go over it like that so it's on there. We'll go one knot on the back side, two knots. So that's on there, but it's kind of a little bit flimsy, you know. See, it's kind of a little bit flimsy like that. So we're going to take them, now that that's on there, and we're going to wrap through the loop, both sides, like that. Crisscross the strings, go back through the loop, back through the loop, and then back to the back side of our main rib here, and then we'll go ahead and tie it. See, it kind of went like that, but we'll tie it to where it sits like that. One knot and two knots. So we'll sit there like that. And another reason why I burn the ends of these is because sinew that's got wax on it, and the wax will eventually, over time, the knots will loosen and it will slim down. But also historically, for the traps and stuff like that, they wouldn't be using green branches for the ribs and stuff. They would use the green branches for the rings, make the rings and let them dry, and then use dry ribs for the pieces. That way they don't shrink, because right now the way that this trap is, odds are that the sinew might get saggy on there, because as the branches here dry, they're going to shrink down a little bit. So just kind of why it's not so much functional as it is kind of a wall hanger. So there's 1, 2, and then number 3 right here. So it's not the smallest one, the 4th smallest, or the 3rd smallest. So we'll get our piece of sinew, keep our area clean here, set that to the side. Same thing. Find a good spot to set this knot so that it can be set on that stick really good. It kind of makes a good little pocket right there. So that's where we're going to put our rib on. So then 2, we're going to set that on there. We'll tie her on. So you can see it's starting to get there and take shape. You want to kind of have your spacing pretty even, pretty close to being equal, so that your cone won't have weird dips in it or get kind of wonky, I guess. Oops, knocked it over. So we'll pick it up, and same thing. See, we'll give a better demonstration of how to tie these on there like that. So the knot's on the back side right here. So we go through the ring right there, through the ring right there. You can tie it just once. That will kind of firm it up and cinch it on there pretty good. See, like that. So then again, you go over, under, over, under, and tie it on. And then it's kind of getting, looks like it's getting a little crazy, but the rings will turn and we'll line them all up as we start tying on more of the ribs. There we go. Snip it. Burn both of those. There we go. See, it's kind of crazy looking right there, but we grab it, we can twist it, and see how it's sitting like that. It's all pointed down, sloping down that way. So next, we're going to take our next rib. Oh, where does it go? Right here. And we're tie on our next rib. So again, we'll look for kind of some of these thicker ones to be our first 4 main ribs, our first 4 main pieces, and then from there we'll fill them in with the skinnier ones. But for these, you know, make your loop right there. Once, twice. Sorry, my camera slipped. And get it pretty close right there. So then we'll take this one. This looks like this is our thicker end down here. So we'll tie it pretty close right there. That's on there. See, it's hanging in there pretty good. So then we go opposite of this side. So we can set it right there, set it on the bottom, and then we take this, and then the same way that we tied them to the other ones, we'll go over the top, under, under, and then we'll tie one quick knot like that. So that keeps it on there good, it cinches it on there good, and then from there, you know, we'll go back under this way. And again, you'll figure out a way that you like tying. You know, you can crisscross them like that. You know, there's really no right or wrong way. as long as that it gets tight on there good. You know, sometimes I like to tie them at an angle. So knot it, one knot, two knots, snip, burn, I'll stamp it with the lighter. So then here, next thing, we'll take another string. Now here's where it's going to get sort of tricky. So we see where it's lining up right here. So you pinch them together, and you're going to set that across the top of the stick right here, and then at an angle through right there, and then you're going to cinch it a little bit, and then twist your strings, and then come back this way and make it into an X. Like that. You can kind of cinch it, you can do it again, go that way, twist it, and make the X come back the other way on the top side. See? Pull it tight. And see, so right there, we're already getting our fish trap shape. Snip it, burn it, stamp it, stamp that on there. And same thing, we're going to repeat that process every time. A good length of string, snip it at an angle, over the top, through the ring, twist the strings, pull it that way, put that string up on there, and then make an X. Once, twice. You'll see everything start to adjust. And then as we get all of our ribs and stuff on here, toward the bottom is where it's all going to tie. It will all tie toward the bottom, and that's where, when after they pulled the fish trap out of there, they would untie it right here and let all the fish out. But for now, we'll snip it. Make sure those are snug. Melt it and stamp it. Melt it and stamp it. Alright, so I'll do one more and then I'll pause it. So see that we're trying to keep this even. So this looks like our next biggest, thickest one right here. Twist it once, twice, 3 times, which is our big end, and kind of straighten them out a little bit so they sit flat on there. So pull it tight. So then we find the space between right here and right here. We can go on top right there. Set this one right here. Through, over the top, cinch them down, we'll cross them, make an X, I'll tie that one on there, snip it, burn the excess string, just stamp it down, and then continue down. It's right there. So we'll grab our string, this excess string out of the way. Remember, at an angle over the top, through the ring, twist it to the other side. And we'll just tie it off. Maybe we'll go one more time through there just to make sure that it's nice and sturdy. So then we will snip it and burn it. Watch out if you have hairy knuckles like mine. And burn it. Sometimes they'll look a little crazy, so you get it warm again. So then as you see, we're getting there, we're getting more of our cone shape, and then these still it will all start to settle as we get more tight on. Just have to make sure to keep them all straight and try to keep them as parallel and uniform as we can. And that's half of the battle. So last string for this one, and then I'll pause it. So across it, twist it, make that X right there, so we can make sure that that's lined up in a good spot right here. Cross it one way, come back through, make our X again, and here we'll do our 2 knots and tie it off. 1, 2, Alright, so pause it real quick, and then we'll get back to the other steps as I get these ribs filled in. Alright, so I went ahead and I tied on some ribs all the way around here. Normally they would fill in more tight, but we're kind of getting strapped on time. So I took a long piece of sinew and tied it to one of these main 4 that we started off with. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take it, and we're going to wrap around a few times on both sides of the string, and we're going to pull it tight. Oops. Actually, that was a mistake on my part. What we're going to need to do is we're going to take this and we're going to go around once, twice, and go to the next one, and go around once, twice, and to the next one, once, twice, 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 to the next one, until we get all the way back to our starting point. And then we're going to go ahead and then we're going to pull them tight and tie a knot. That's going to be kind of tough to get our knot in there. Well, what's good about the sinew is that we can get our knot, pull it tight, and then what we're going to do is we're going to grab it and we're still going to wrap around it like that. Hold them all in place. And it can get kind of messy, and you'll figure it out. Everybody's got their own way, but basically what we're doing this for, though, is that so that if there was fish in there, you know, we could untie them and let them out at the end. So it kind of has our cone shape. This ring could have been a little bit smaller, you know, but you can still see it's got its cone shape. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take this ring right here, and we're going to get these little pieces right here, all these little tiny ones that we saved from before. We're going to make them about this big, all about that length, and you trim them all to length. And by the same process, we're going to take these, and we're going to take sinew. We're going to tie them, these little sticks right here, onto this ring. And then we probably do, you know, 5 or 6, maybe 8, depending on how we want to do it, so that it will all go around him like that. Alright, so we're kind of going to rush through these last little parts here because we went over our time, but we're going to tie these sticks on here like this. This is going to be our last phase, and this is going to start off like this, the way that we started our whole project. And we're going to take these little ends right here, and these tie onto the inside of right here. So you would take a string right here like this, put it over that string, take it to the inside right here. We're going to go ahead and tie it around we'll do that a couple times. We'll make our knot, we'll tie it on there good. We'll give it a snip, burn. So then now we'll go over to the other side. I only did 5 for the sake of this demonstration. Oops, my laptop turned. See my crazy hair. But we'll take one more string. We'll use this longer one that I had cut already. Make a loop. Put it over this one. This will go over to this side. Same thing. Take those, pull it through. Get it on there good. We'll go around one extra time on this side and we'll tie them together. We'll cinch it, singe it, do that, and then see how it would go all the way around on the inside. You know, we'll tie on these other ones here after I turn off the video, but as you can see, fish swim in this way, get stuck if they can get out. They were too small, and then when we're done, we take our string here, we pull it off the end like that, and we dump them all out. So thank you for watching my PIR day presentation. Sorry I went over a few minutes, but have a good day. Thank you.